Welcome back to Interpack TV Day 3 here in Düsseldorf, where the global packaging industry comes together to explore what's next. That's an only claim, but that's what's going to be today our program, of course, with a lot of interesting topics. So you're very welcome to join us. I'm Matthias Laux, and today we are diving into trends, technologies and innovations that are redefining how we package, process and think about products. And talking about innovations, of course, we have to talk about Sealed Air. So I'm very delighted to welcome Mr. Glen Kirkpatrick from Sealed Air.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for joining us today. So first of all, I would like to know, Interpack, of course, is the world's leading packaging trade fair, as we all know here. But what are the key challenges food producers and retailers are currently facing? What do you mean?
A lot of what we hear in the market today is obviously geopolitical. There's a lot of strain cost. We talk a lot now about cost. We talk about fuel. We talk about plastics. That hits us big. We're trying to absorb a lot of the cost, you know, but there's obviously strain between producers and retail. Everybody feels it at the moment. So that's big. We try to find ways to absorb it with our customers in partnerships. You know, there's, of course, automation. There's, of course, different solutions that compensate. But that's where we see the most strain at the moment.
But I think these problems are quite global, right? They're not only just as from the European perspective.
Yeah, for Europe, it's at the heart, of course. You know, if we look at the US, for example, they feel it as well. Of course, at the gas stations, fuel is twice the price it was a year ago. And it doesn't stop there, but they also produce their own product. We are much closer to the source. But yeah, of course, it's global.
It's global, okay. But I think that's also what the Interpack is for, right? So the global industries coming together just to talk about these problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're always engaging with customers on those challenges. We're also working closer with retail, you know, than we did in the past as well, because we see that's where the consumer gets hit. And so that's the source of the intel that we need.
As I learned yesterday evening, communication is king, right? So let's talk about the Sealed Air's presence at Interpack this year. It's built around the idea of performance meeting responsibilities, a strong topic. But what does it mean in practical terms for customers?
So something that is deep in people's minds is that when you want to be more sustainable, you give up something else, right? And so as we are going through the journey to develop towards PPWR, towards, you know, stronger EPR implementation, we found that it doesn't have to be that way. That you can have a thinner material that is running a higher performance, but is, you know, some type of a monostructure that is more affordable even, and can be produced high speeds, can run high speeds. Now, for us, that means a lot about our innovation happens, of course, at the intersection between the machinery and the materials. So we've changed the mission, for example, of our standing trade show that we have in Milan, our Pack Forum. We have a lot of R&D work that now takes place inside of our own Pack Forum in order to make sure that we can produce and develop new materials that are compliant and perform at the same or higher standard.
I think that's interesting. That's quite interesting that you mentioned the PPWR before I did.
It is our bread and butter, you know.
No, but is it that important that you would say that's the overall topic?
It's not everything. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that happens when, again, when we're thinking about automation. There are other stresses than the oil crisis. There are other stresses than the Strait of Hormuz. There is also, you know, there's still a lot of pressure jobs-wise, right? Finding good operators, finding good service people, replenishing staff is a huge challenge that everybody has. So we'd see a lot of activity there. There's always something to improve. There's always challenges around footprint. There's challenges around investment. But if we're considering longer term, PPWR, we see customers now trialing, testing, especially the bigger players are trialing and testing. They're aware that the legislative landscape is changing, 2030, 2032, and so the interest increases, and we've been looking at it for years, trying to figure out how can we meet the new demands.
Okay, but would you say that, just in general, the solutions are ready?
Some.
Some, okay.
No, with care, I mean, we have a lot of development programs going on. A lot of our development dollars are going into trying to find good solutions to meet these needs.
Yeah.
If we look across the industry, we'd say not just us, but our partners, competitors, everybody's working in this space.
Yeah.
But ready would be a strong word at this point.
Okay, I see. Interpack, of course, is traditionally driven by equipment and automation. It's always been. But where do you see the biggest opportunities today for food producers to improve efficiency and reduce costs, so the both? Maybe.
So I spend a lot of my time in the industrial space.
Oh.
So thinking about the bigger pieces, right?
Yeah.
The bigger products.
Okay.
There we have a lot of success, or had a lot of successes with customer in the recent years to automate in the loading spaces, right? Everything before, because downstream is well automated at this point. Everything that goes into a square box is easy to handle, but the products with high variability, so if you take apart a carcass, if you have beef, cattle production, like these types of things.
Okay.
I mean, cheese, especially in Germany, is highly automated, right? Because it has to be efficient. There was a lot of pressure on cost, considering salaries, the Western world in general. Yeah. But now there's a lot of pressure as well on the beef side. But the animal has different sizes. You know, it comes in different shapes and sizes all the time.
Of course.
So that's a huge challenge in terms of automating it. And we've seen a lot of opportunity to switch from something that's often done by people, loading processes, manual loading processes, to move to our Flowback platform, for example, where we see it often implies that customers have to invest into a footprint change, which is a long-term investment. It's a hard challenge to overcome, but we have a service that we offer from our system and integration teams. They help customers to redesign their floor in order to make that viable. So that's something that we've had a lot of success with.
So they just try to redefine, but not the whole system?
No, it's very specific areas. Okay. Because we felt years ago, we switched CEOs, we had a new guy coming in with a lot of vision around lights out operations. And in reality, there's a lot of downfalls in automating. And most customers struggle to adopt large-scale automation in one go because it carries so much risk. So the standard procedure is you take a slice, you take a part of the operation, and you automate that part. And when that works well, you move to the next part. So that's what we also accommodate, with the customers, to look at, okay, where's the bottleneck, where's the weakest link, where's the best opportunity to gain short-term and long-term as well.
Okay, interesting. We never thought about it. Okay, great. Can you give an example, at least you did, of how system integration and automation delivers measurable benefits in real operation? If there's something, an example.
So when we try to build the cases with customers, we look at TOPACO, right? The total packaging cost, we call it. So we look at the operation and say, okay, what does the scenario look like if we implement X, Y, or Z in your operation, and then we show just the cost side. But usually the cost side's not the only thing driving the decision. There's a lot of other elements in there too. So there's, for example? Well, taking care of your operators as well. So there's an ergonomic argument. A lot of countries have a lot of increasing safety requirements and increasing ergonomic requirements, because one of the it's the cost downstream that often gets ignored a little bit. On the obvious side, it's if you work in a, like, again, take the beef environment, if you work in these types of processors, it's hard labor, right? And anything that a company can do to make it easier on the back for their employees, to make their job more ergonomic, is going to be a long-term gain, because there's going to be health costs and detriment to the people's health over time. Of course. And so these things are also big drivers. It's not just the cost or the investment or the money saved somewhere or the amount of products. But the holistic picture is what we really try to focus on. That's what I try to look for, the holistic picture. That's the word I was looking for. Great, of course. But how important is the alignment between packaging materials? I know you're not from the material side, and equipment when implementing automated system, right? You need this connection. It's absolutely key. It's absolutely key. So that's where, between us and our partners, our friends in the industry, we feel that we have a unique position, especially in that space, because we carry a lot of that application knowledge that is the cross-section between the machinery and the product and the materials. So making it actually work with each other, and that doesn't mean it has to be only our machine that makes it work. There's no exclusivity in it.
Okay.
We feel the value comes from being with our customers through the journey, from the start to the finish. It's not we bring a product and we leave it there. It's we are taking the journey with our customers for the next decades.
No, okay.
And that's the application promise, right? To make sure that, because conditions change, products change, operators change, you know, and we are still there to help and make it work, and especially around that intersection you mentioned.
Yes. Yes, but talking about decades and also about the BPWR, retailers across Europe are reassessing their packaging strategy. But how does your company, how does Sealed Air support them, or how can you support them when their packaging strategies, when they are maybe just more perfection in, to bring more perfection in that?
That's a very hard question to answer. We are trying to predict as well what the market could be doing.
Okay.
And it's as Mike Tyson once said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So some of our assumptions are turning out to be quite true, some are less so. But we have to be flexible. We have to see which packaging format is the one that can have better outcomes, package the product better than others. Oftentimes we don't know in advance. That's why we're going in many directions in development. So it is the flexibility that we have to bring through this whole process to head towards PPWR. There's a consistency in not knowing what still needs to be changed. There's a lot of lobbying going on to make sure that one or the other area is, you know, maybe not judged as harsh. You know, what is a material that is part of the manufacturing process versus what is packaging? So these types of small differences, they're not completely set in stone yet. And how countries will implement, you know, that's also something we need to track and figure out, is like which solution that today is the standard might get more punished, in essence, to be more sustainable long term in Europe.
So of course there will be no general solution, right? You always have to look at the specific cases.
No, there's a lot of avenues, a lot of roads lead to Rome.
Roads lead to Rome, great. But well, the food service sector is under significant pressure, right? Like any other sectors, of course. But how is Sealed Air supporting food service operators, probably through automation? What can you say there?
So from an industrial packaging standpoint, we do a lot of work with in the food service spaces when it's about bulk, when it's about mother bag style packaging, multiple products in one pack. But especially here at the Interpack, we're exhibiting our vertical packaging, our pouch packaging. It's a liquid packaging system that we sell also as a two-part fill system. So that's something we do in the food services space. So that's big for us, working with the big QCRs. You know, we're trying to work with companies like McDonald's and so on, where it's key to have solutions that also reduce old formats when you're looking at buckets being used to transport, where you have a huge amount of plastic waste, where there's flexible solutions that are like an immediate improvement to that.
Yeah. But what are the reactions of the visitors, probably? When I go to your booth, what do you say? What are the reactions you get?
I haven't been at our booth yet.
No,
it's my first day today, so I'm really looking forward to see how people react, how our customers react. I've read a couple of the notes from the team, so it's apparently been quite positive and informative. It's been a long time since we have exhibited actively at Interpack.
Ah, really?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
So we're really excited to engage with the people that show up and visit us in Hall 12.
Yes, of course, it's worth a visit, of course. Everybody's welcome?
Absolutely.
You will be there the whole time, or?
No. We have a standing staff at the booth, representing multiple languages, of course. So making sure that we can catch everybody that wants to show up and has a bunch of questions for us.
Yes.
We hope in the next years we're going to have even bigger booths with more products that we can showcase live. So that's something we're looking forward to be back at Interpack whenever we can.
Yeah, very happy that you're back. Otherwise, you wouldn't.
Oh, we are
sit
too.
Here. You wouldn't
We're
sit here.
excited that we can be back here as well. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's welcome at the booth of Sealed Air in Hall 10? Or
We're in 12.
12, okay, great.
That's in B71, I'm being told.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Thank you.
Great. But we are at day 3, so it's still plenty of time to visit Sealed Air. And I say thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having us. And please check in with us in Hall 12. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Glen Kirkpatrick.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you for joining us, for watching this Interpack TV from Düsseldorf. And we'll be back at 11 o'clock with Dr. David Strack and Susie, which is going to be the PPWR check. I'm very excited about that. Thank you once again, and see you. Bye-bye.